Did you know that over 60% of Disney's animated releases in the last decade have been sequels or remakes? Instead of creating new classics, they keep going back to old stories. The Lion King 2, Frozen 2, Toy Story 4, are these sequels keeping Disney's magic alive, or are they ruining their own legacy? Let's talk about it. Disney has always been known for its creativity, bringing us stories that shaped generations. But something has changed. Instead of giving us fresh, original films, Disney keeps going back to old stories, turning them into sequels and remakes. Sure, some sequels have been great, but when movies start feeling like cash grabs instead of heartfelt stories, fans notice. Aladdin, Mulan, The Lion King, all timeless classics that got sequels that few people talk about today. Even newer hits like Frozen and Toy Story are getting more sequels, whether they need them or not. The question is, are these sequels keeping Disney's magic alive, or are they damaging their own legacy? Let's break it down. All right, let's be real. Disney loves sequels. Like, really loves sequels. It's like that one friend who keeps telling the same joke, but every time it's a little less funny. And let's be honest, sometimes these sequels feel like they exist just to make money, not because there's an actual story worth telling. Take Frozen 2, for example. The first Frozen was a cultural phenomenon. Kids were singing Let It Go nonstop. Parents were begging them to stop. And Elsa became an instant icon. Then Frozen 2 came along, and what exactly happened? There was a magical river, some flashbacks, and Elsa suddenly had a new dress. It looked gorgeous, sure, but the emotional depth of the first movie just wasn't there. It felt like a fancy Disney Plus special rather than a movie that needed to exist. And then there's The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Look, I get it. Disney wanted to turn The Lion King into a Shakespearean saga. But did anyone really ask for a low-budget Romeo and Juliet with lions? Instead of a powerful, emotional story like the first movie, we got Simba being an overprotective dad and Kovu looking like he walked straight out of a early 2000s emo band. But the biggest head scratcher? Toy Story 4, the Toy Story series already had a perfect ending with Toy Story 3, a heartfelt goodbye, a meaningful message about growing up, and Andy passing his beloved toys to a new child. It was emotional and satisfying. Then Toy Story 4 showed up like an uninvited guest at a party. Was it entertaining? Sure. Did it add anything necessary to the series? Not really. Woody just left his friends after everything? That's like SpongeBob quitting the Krusty Krab to sell seashells at the beach. The pattern is clear. Disney isn't making sequels because they need to be made. They're making them because sequels are easy money. The question is, at what cost? Are these movies actually keeping Disney's magic alive, or are they slowly chipping away at what made their classics special in the first place? Is Disney running out of ideas or just running to the bank? Let's talk about something Disney doesn't seem to understand. Sometimes it's okay to leave a good thing alone. They've given us some of the most magical stories of all time, but lately it feels like they're just recycling old ideas instead of making anything truly new. Think about Disney in the 1990s. Every year they dropped a fresh, original movie that became an instant classic. Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Mulan, Hercules, all new, all iconic. Fast forward to today, and instead of bold new ideas, we're getting Frozen 3, Toy Story 5, and live action remakes of movies that were already perfect. It's like if your grandma kept reheating the same leftovers and trying to convince you it's a whole new meal. It's fresh. I added some cheese. No, grandma. It's just last night's spaghetti with extra disappointment. When nostalgia becomes a cash grab, Disney figured out something dangerous. Nostalgia is a money-making machine. They know that if they slap a beloved title onto a new project, people will show up just to relive their childhood. The problem, these sequels and remakes rarely add anything meaningful to the original stories. Take The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Now, the first Lion King is a masterpiece, Shakespeare with lions, unforgettable songs, and Mufasa breaking our hearts forever. The sequel, it feels like a fan fiction someone wrote at 3 a.m. Suddenly, Simba is a paranoid dad, and we're expected to care about Kovu, the discount Scar with an emo haircut. Was it terrible? No. But was it necessary? Also, no. Then there's Frozen 2. The first Frozen was everywhere. Kids sang Let It Go so much that parents probably considered running away from home. It had strong characters, a great villain twist, and a message that hit hard. Then Frozen 2 showed up with an even shinier Elsa dress, a confusing backstory about a magical river, and a random 80s style Kristoff song that felt like it belonged in a different movie. It made money, sure, but did it really capture the heart of the first one? And don't even get me started on Toy Story 4. Toy Story 3 gave us a perfect ending, Andy saying goodbye, Woody and Buzz moving on, and all of us crying into our popcorn. Then Disney was like, wait, what if we made another one? But with a talking spork, and thus Toy Story 4 was born. It was fun. But Woody leaving Buzz after everything? That's like Batman quitting Gotham to work at a smoothie shop. Are live-action remakes making things worse? If sequels weren't enough, Disney decided to double down and start remaking its animated classics in live action. The idea sounds cool, seeing our favorite characters in a realistic setting, but instead of feeling magical, most of these remakes feel lifeless. The Lion King remake, for example, looked visually stunning, but when the characters started talking, it felt like watching a National Geographic documentary with voiceovers. The expressions and emotions that made the original so powerful, gone. The humor, watered down. The music, not the same without the original energy. Then there's Mulan. They took away Mushu. They took away the songs. They took away everything that made Mulan fun. What did they give us instead? A serious war drama that tried to be epic but ended up feeling empty. The pattern is clear. Disney keeps using familiar stories, but instead of improving them, they strip away the magic and personality that made them great in the first place. The bigger problem, new ideas are getting ignored. While Disney is busy squeezing every last dollar out of sequels and remakes, their original films are suffering. Look at Encanto, a fresh original story with great music, strong characters, and a unique message. But Disney barely promoted it compared to their sequels and remakes. Or Strange World, which flopped, not because it was bad, but because Disney gave it almost no marketing. It's like they don't even trust their new stories anymore. Meanwhile, they'll pour millions into something like the Little Mermaid remake, knowing people will buy tickets just out of curiosity. Back in the day, Disney took risks. Some movies worked, some didn't, but they always tried something new. Now, they'd rather play it safe and milk the same stories over and over again. So, what happened to Disney's magic? Disney didn't lose its ability to tell great stories, it just got comfortable making easy money. As long as sequels and remakes keep bringing in billions, they have no reason to stop. But at what cost? The more they rely on the past, the harder it becomes to create something that will truly last in the future. Maybe one day Disney will remember that its greatest movies weren't made by looking backward, but by daring to try something new. Until then, we'll probably see Frozen 5 Elsa Joins a Rock Band before we get another original classic. Disney used to be the king of originality. Now, they're that one kid in class who keeps copying their own homework and hoping no one notices. The real problem isn't just the sequels, it's that Disney has stopped taking risks and we can actually see the effect it's having. Let's talk about Lightyear. This was supposed to be a fresh take on Buzz Lightyear, a movie about the real space hero that inspired the toy. But guess what? Nobody cared. It flopped at the box office, proving that just because a character is popular doesn't mean people want an unnecessary spin-off. Meanwhile, Disney completely ignored Strange World, a new and original film, barely promoting it, and then acted surprised when it didn't make money. And look at the numbers. Encanto, a fantastic original movie, made 256 million. Not bad. But The Lion King 2019, a frame by frame remake of a movie we already loved, made a ridiculous 1.6 billion. What does that tell Disney? Why take a creative risk when nostalgia prints money? Fans are noticing too. Social media is full of people asking, do we really need a Toy Story 5? Or why not make another original classic instead? Disney is playing it safe, but at what cost? If they don't start bringing back real creativity, they might lose the magic that made them great in the first place. Disney used to be all about magic, but now they're all about milking every last drop from their old hits. Sure, not all sequels are bad, but when they feel more like a business plan than a creative decision, the quality suffers. At this rate, we'll probably get Frozen 7, Olaf Gets a Mortgage before we get another true classic. What do you think? Are Disney's sequels keeping the magic alive, or are they just playing it safe? Let's talk in the comments. Before you go, think about this. Are we letting Disney get lazy just because nostalgia feels good? If you believe storytelling should be more than recycled ideas, hit subscribe. Not for me, but for real creativity. Demand better movies, stay sharp, stay curious. This is Plot Story Reviews.